Hello everyone, Samuel here and welcome to Samuel's Racing Show. Where's my background? Why do I have a green screen behind me? Well, because I got some iRacing updates to tell you all, and so I'll be sharing some video footage of my iRacing computer in a moment. So I'm going to take my camera down from the stand, and also it means I don't really want to do video editing on the computer right now. So you're getting raw footage, so that means if I screw up and say any naughty words, you're going to hear that. But anyway, let's talk about the Rolex 24 Hours at Daytona, because that was probably one of the biggest racing stories of the weekend. I always like to think of it as kind of a kick-off to a new racing season. Even though there are Supercross rounds, iRacing events, Formula E, Race of Champions events and everything going on before that in January, I kind of feel that, you know, that Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona is really that stamp on the racing season saying, hey, we're back for the new calendar year. And it's always great when you have 5 classes, because I feel you're always going to get one of the classes as a good finish. And this year round, it was the LMP2 class's turn, and that fantastic finish there between the 04 and the 55 car. The 55 just edging out the 04 by about 100th of a second at the finish line. I'm going to be a couch commentator. I might hurt some feelings by saying this, but I kind of feel the 04 made a big mistake there on the exit of NASCAR 4. The car was on the inside line, and the second place car was up high, passing the LMP3 lapped car that was down low. If the 04 had stayed on the low line, the 55 wouldn't have got as strong of a draft, I don't think. But the 04 pulled up kind of to try and block a run the 55 had, or that he thought the 55 had. But all that did was give him a stronger draft. And honestly, I think that made a difference. Again, it's couch commentary. You know, that they're all heck of a lot better drivers than me, as anyone who's seen my iRacing videos can probably tell you. And so, you know, kudos to them. They both got a podium finish at the least, but obviously I'm sure the 04 would have liked to win. 60 team, Meyer Shank Racing winning over in the GTP category. That is going to throw me off a whole bunch of times. It doesn't sound right calling it a GT something category, you know. But kudos to that whole class. They put on a good race, you know. A lot of questions about the reliability of hybrid systems, but turned out that for, you know, a good handful of the cars wasn't much of an issue, and they put on a good show. Daytona, of course, is only 3 hours away from me. I'd like to try and get to that race next year. Because I sold my house in North Carolina last year, I'm unsure what my taxes look like for this year. So I'm going to try and start saving some money, I say, after buying a bunch of iRacing parts. So that's why I didn't go this year. Thinking about the Sebring 12 hours, we'll see about that. LMP3, not much to talk about. The GTD Pro category, that's where the winner was the... I can't read my own handwriting. The GT was the number 79 Mercedes, of course, and then over in GTD category, the 27 Aston Martin won that class. The 57 had a nice little comeback story going there. That would have made some good headlines. That was just, I felt that was a really silly, ambitious move to make it 4 wide on the inside on the restart there. Granted, there was only half an hour left on the clock. Granted, they were trying to catch up with the leader, but nah, it was a risky move and they paid the price. So I just can't be too upset for them when something like that happens. Share my honest thoughts about that one. Rolex 24, not the only racing that was going on this weekend. There was also Supercross. I didn't make a video after the second Supercross round, partly because of all this computer stuff I have going on, and partly there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. The stories were very similar in San Diego as what they were after Anaheim 1. Tomac was dominating 450. Dret Lawrence was dominating 250. Tomac's closest contender in 450 was Cooper Webb, or maybe Chase Sexton. And Dret Lawrence's closest contender in 250 was RJ Hampshire. This week at A2, Anaheim 2 kind of shook it up a little bit. In 250, Dret Lawrence went down a couple of times in the Triple Crown. RJ Hampshire won the first 250 main. You kind of thought, oh, okay, he's going to get the win. No. He does even worse than Dret by the end of the night, and Levi Kitchen walks away with a win. So kudos to Levi there. And then over in 450, Eli Tomac goes down a couple of times. And yes, it was Chase Sexton who did the win, but to me, a couple of the bigger headlines there were Jason Anderson finally getting it together and coming away with second, and Ken Roczen doing well with third. I thought Ken would do quite well because he started off the season strong. He seems to be happy on the Suzuki, and I think he does do better in these Triple Crown shorter race formats. It's good to see him starting the season with 3 solid finishes. That being said, I just don't know if I anticipate him keeping that up all season long. You know, once we get to the normal length rounds, once the grind starts coming. But prove me wrong, Kenny. Prove me wrong. Either way, it was a very interesting night. That second 250 main was quite chaotic, and that was definitely entertaining. Anyway, I said I would be talking about my iRacing stuff. You've probably seen this index card I have down here, and that's because I don't remember the names of any of the things. But I have finished upgrading the computer. It has a new motherboard, CPU, RAM, and cooler. Motherboard is a Gigabyte 855M Aorus Pro D. CPU is a Ryzen 7 5800X3D. RAM is 4 sticks, 8 gigabytes apiece of Corsair Vengeance LPX, and the cooler is an Arctic Liquid Freezer 280. I don't know what any of that kind of stuff means. If you remember a few years back, well, honestly, for the last few years, I've been racing and iRacing with the hashtag Never Quit in memory of a late friend of mine, Bryce Whitson, who passed away from leukemia, I believe in 2020 was back when he passed. His cousin, Gary Whitson, go back a bit further in the story. Bryce built this computer that I use for iRacing. And it was kind of a second-hand computer from him. He sold it to me for, you know, a good discount. And I've been racing on it for the past few years, but it was in need of an upgrade with those parts that I just listed to you. Bryce passed away a couple of years ago. His cousin, Gary Whitson, who I have also commentated to on iRacing, he was the one who recommended these parts. And so I purchased them, and Gary was kind enough to kind of talk me through the phone over how to install them. Also, Gary's recommended a few monitors for me. I've got 4 32-inch monitors coming and a track race kind of monitor mount. So all that is coming. And that being said, the computer works. We've tested the computer, we've checked the temperatures, it's working and everything right now. And this is, in a moment actually, I'll take the camera off and show you what I got going on. Because the reason I'm not playing iRacing again yet is because I don't have the monitors yet. I want to step up the realism on my iRacing this year. I don't currently, or I haven't in the past, raced with, not power steering, force feedback. Blanking there. I haven't raced with force feedback in the past. I used to not race with a clutch, but now I've started doing that. That was a bit of a change. I kept getting stuck in neutral in some cars. So this is going to be another change again, going to 4 monitors, going to force feedback. I'm probably going to try and turn the virtual mirror off and use iRacing's mirrors. So it's going to be a learning curve for me. And the Lionheart Retro series, which I'm officially on the roster for, doesn't begin until April. So I'm hoping the monitors get here within the next couple of weeks. I get it set up. That'll give me about 2 months to do some official series racing, some AI racing in the Lotus 79 and get used to it. But enough talking, let's show you what the computer looks like. Here she is, and you can see I have the side panels off right now, and there's 2 reasons for that. One is because I'm struggling to get them back on properly, and but the second one, the bigger reason I don't have it on right now is because I know we're going to still be checking the computer temperatures and everything when the monitors get here, so I just want to have them off in case it helps me access any other parts. Got the motherboard, the CPU, the RAM down there, the cooler, bringing in the air over there. And it was an adventure, that's for sure. That's the first time I've kind of assembled something like that. and now I know when I do an upgrade again 4 or 5 years in the future or whatever, that I kind of know what to expect. Better overview of the Bateau racing seat I use, and the current, well, 2 monitors I have. Obviously one monitor that I use, and then I've just got an odd sized monitor down there for kind of displaying non-iRacing material during the race, such as ARTVO and all that. But the idea will be to have the 3 monitors kind of lined up alongside each other, and then the monitor up top for timing the scoring, Discord, whatever I need to have up there. And hopefully that will get completed within a month, I'd say. All right, well, Bush Clash at the LA Coliseum coming up this weekend, as well as the beginning of the 250 East Supercross series over in Houston. And if you haven't seen what's been going on with Kawasaki, they've had a really bad week, losing pretty much their 250 East contenders to injuries in crashes during practice. So looks like Hunter Lawrence might not have a whole lot of competition over on the east side, but we'll see. Alrighty, see you all around.